notably the Pietra Dura work in the Lahore Fort's Sheesh Mahal. These stone products take days to complete and require immense precision and skill from the craftsmen. The final products are perfect for souvenirs, gifts and decoration pieces, each depicting the richness of Pakistani culture at its best. Camel skin and ivory craft are trademarks of Multan's handicraft repertoire. Camel skin is cleaned, dried and mounted onto molds which can be of any shape desired.
Welcome to the world today. I'm Waqas Majeed Khan. Today we're still talking about the trajectory of Pakistan and United States relations. We've had a number of statements coming from senior Trump administration officials, and there are mixed signals that we are getting. So we'd like to discuss those in detail. Let's talk to our guests in the studio. Joining me today, we have Major Ahson Bashir, and along with him, we have Mohmmad Sheraz. Both are defense analysts. Thank you very much, sir, for being here. Sir, let's start with the latest after the tweet, as everything is now as an aftermath of the tweet, the infamous tweet. One of the things that came to light is that the US strategy for Afghanistan is to launch a true two-pronged military offensive that inflicts a military defeat on the Taliban and forces them to join the Afghan reconciliation process on Kabul's conditions. How realistic is this approach, sir, in your opinion?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Thank you very much, Waqas. As far as the realism or realistic approach, you have said that this kind of perception which Americans are having at the moment, that they can have this two-prong strategy and attack and can defeat Taliban, those who are at the present, if you know that they are ruling 70% of Afghanistan. And Kabul regime probably sitting in Kabul is not that strong as yet that they can go by themselves and inflict such a heavy casualties which can bring Taliban to a talking table where they can dictate their terms to Taliban and then fall to wherever they want to. Now, having said this, I think they can always, because they have been in that area for such a long time, and 16 years of war they have seen. And today, the result of the war is that they are not successful as yet. They are unable to stay there, and they are unable to actually extricate themselves as well from that land. Even if they want to go away, then it is not an option. It is with them as yet, which is looking very apparent. So defeat is, I would not say that classic defeat is there, but then no success is also seen out there. Unless they really put Taliban into the mainstream and bring them and make them part of a political system in Afghanistan. Only then peace can return, because ultimately your aim is to bring peace in Afghanistan and then have a stronger government in Kabul which can do themselves and rule Afghanistan by itself. And then that is the aim, basically. Now, are we really getting to that, or closer even to that for that matter? I think we are not getting closer to that. That is why Pakistan has always given out a very positive response to all this thing. Pakistan was part of the negotiations between Afghan Taliban and the Afghan government, for that matter. They thought of that, because peaceful Afghanistan is not only in the interest of Afghanistan or Pakistan, it is in the interest of this entire region at the moment. Because since with the changes of the narratives and so many other important things which have happened in this region, which has made this region now one of the most important regions in this world, in the globe. So that is why realignment is going on, not only between the regions as a whole, but strategical regions alignment is also happening, where it is steering away from one region and totally going in a different direction for that matter. So it is going to suit someone and it is not going to suit someone. The realignment between the countries is also very important, and the narratives which has changed from geopolitics to geoeconomics is, you can't really deny that reality which has come in this region, and it suits not only Afghanistan and Pakistan, it is suiting basically this entire region. So this entire region does not only have Americans' presence in Afghanistan, it has got regional powers also, and to that matter not only regional but the world powers also sitting in this region. One is USSR, the other is China. India also is a very big power in this region, I would say, and India will not like to also damage itself by only getting towards on one side, by siding with America for that matter and getting into some war which is already a lost war. That is why Pakistan always wishes to have peace in this region. Pakistan does not want to be part of any controversy in this region anymore. So these are the kinds of frictions of the thought process which has basically differentiated between the thinking or the thought process of Pakistan and the rest of the superpower which has come 16 to 30 years back. Because you see, the potential of this country is so humongous that if one could fight a war with the Russians' presence in some other land, so that also basically tells everything that what all has happened. So Afghanistan, particularly in Afghanistan and holding of Taliban, Pakistan has always given them a true reality that maybe the war is no more an option in Afghanistan. A political dialogue is an option in Afghanistan. If you want to continue this war, you may continue it for another 20 years. But then what has happened? Has the USSR been successful in that land? No, it has not been. Previous to USSR, have the British colonies have been successful in that area? No, they have not been. Has Americans and the NATO forces have been successful in that area? No, it has not been. So why this option of two-pronged strategy of a war, is being shown that will happen? Because what to my mind is that it is not only limited or it is not only aimed for Afghanistan, but it's a message to someone else also there.
Okay, we'll come to that, sir. But at the moment, according to the press reports, Pakistanis also do not disagree with the basic thrust of the American argument, but they also have one very major concern, sir, and that is, what if this strategy fails? What are is there a plan B, so to speak? There doesn't seem to be any plan at all as far as the situation on the ground seems to indicate. So Sheraz, in your opinion, what could be the outfall or the fallout of a failure of this particular strategy of the Americans, this new one?
Thank you, Waqas. I think it's very interesting to notice that how we are now pointing towards plan B, because ironically we never had a plan B earlier on. It was the first Afghan war, it was the second Afghan war. We have always been, going with the action-reaction kind of policy. Yes, it is $1 million question. What if they fail? Because United States of America may not have much to suffer, may not have much to go through, and Pakistan has to, because Pakistan has to stay in the region. So that is very important in a way. That it is the kind of question which Pakistan needs to have some answers about from United States of America and the other allies as well. Because of the fact, it is very clear, as it has been mentioned in the previous programs, if I recall, that United States of America wants to increase its bargaining power on the table. That's the only reason. Why are they talking about? They're not talking about defeating. In the previous statements by high officials, on the US officials, it was like they were conveying message, you cannot defeat us. But they never said that we can defeat you vis-a-vis the Taliban. So it is very clear.
But that has changed, because as far as President Trump is concerned, he wants a win in Afghanistan.
Win? How you define win?
And it's very important because he sees it as the reason why he may be elected as president again.
He never said
in the second term.
He never said that by eliminating or defeating Taliban. He said, we want to win there. So winning there may have another definition altogether, and which is very clearly mentioned in the recent reports as well. Winning is to bring them on the table with less power to negotiate. So we want to, because they have shown a very, in a way, a less sign of weakness, and they have been very powerful. They have been very influential in other parts of Afghanistan, apart from few areas, and that is important to notice. So now what they want to do is basically injure them to the fact that where they can realize that without negotiation, without being part of the current setup, they cannot survive. So that is one way of seeing things. But Pakistani question or Pakistani apprehensions are very important and legitimate in a way that obviously if that does not happen, then why? Because the same question was asked many times earlier with Pakistan's war on terror, because Pakistan was using its last option, that was the military operations, and that was the same question, at that time. What if it fails, then what? So Pakistan has raised very pertinent, very legitimate, and very timely question.
The failure is not an option as far as this situation is concerned, whether it's for Pakistan or for any other country. You can never fight a war with the intention of losing.
I would emphasize, for Pakistan, failure is not an option in Afghanistan. United States of America may have other options, but Pakistan has no option. If Pakistan wholeheartedly jumps or bandwagons US initiative in Afghanistan, Pakistan has no option, because Pakistan is here to stay. And on the other end, the existence of Taliban is also a reality. Afghan Taliban is a reality. They control more than 50%
and there's another reality
of the
emerging in the region as well, in the form of Daesh.
So that is the controversial, that is the contradiction, At the one end, you want to eliminate, or you're trying to take control of the legitimate representatives of Afghanistan. We have to over the period of 17 years, more than 17 years, we must have realized, even the American policymakers have also realized, that Taliban are here to stay. We are trying to undermine them, but the real terrorist threat, which is taking, resurfacing it has resurfaced in Afghanistan. There are current reports that it is also gaining ground in Pakistan as well. So United States of America, instead of criticizing Pakistan, should strengthen Pakistan's effort vis-a-vis IS and other terrorist groups. As far as the US-Pakistan's policy in Afghanistan is concerned, there are issues, because Pakistan, being a sovereign country, has its own national interests. Similarly, US has its own interests in the region. So those interests are not in line. So whatever United States of America say, United States of America should also consider what Pakistani interests are, because unilaterally, it is not the age of unilateralism anymore.
And that doesn't make sense, Sheraz, because it is clearly stated by both Pakistan and the US that they both want peace in Afghanistan, and their efforts are geared towards the same objective. So if the objective is the same, then I don't see why the alignment doesn't take place.
Similarly, defining win.
Right.
Pakistan defines win in a different way. United States of America has its own definition of winning,
Yes,
so the peace is similar.
In business language, we talk about a win-win situation where somehow there are other situations which are a win-lose situation.
And the United States of America maybe is not ready to create a win-win situation between Pakistan and the United States of America, the kind of administration sitting in USA. But we will obviously we will talk about the other important issues, which are what we have done so far. Because if you remember, when Trump declared this South Asian policy in your program, I raised this point: our policymakers should start working on it now. What are the possible repercussions of this initiative?
Yes.
And I don't know what has been done so far.
Yeah, well, neither do
Nobody?
I. So
Okay,
let's move on. And Majid Saab, in your opinion, we also have some other statements coming from the US which are not exactly antagonistic. They're still talking about cooperation and moving forward in trying to defeat the terrorists, in sharing intelligence or what have you. But here's a statement, sir, which is quite problematic. And that is Mr. Mattis saying that the US was engaged in an ongoing dialogue with the Pakistanis to hammer out the strategy. And he further says that now that we've created the strategy, you have to execute it. What does that exactly mean, and what does that entail? So are they just sitting there and telling us what to do, and we are just supposed to blindly do everything that they tell us? That's what it seems, sir, from the statement.
Well, Waqas, that is same what they keep doing, telling us do more, and we keep telling them no more. It's very simple. It's no more. because we are not going to fight anyone else's war out there. We feel what we feel. What is in the best interest of Pakistan, Pakistan will only do that in Afghanistan. Pakistan has very firmly decided one thing, and that is very rightly decided now, that Pakistan will look forward to what suits Pakistan. Indians' presence of 18 consulates, bringing them all the way from India and bringing them and giving them a role of a permanent settlement in Afghanistan, is there a justification with America for doing it? No, there is not. The reason is that America probably is under the view that they are becoming irrelevant now in this region. Very soon they will become irrelevant in this region. They don't want to be like that. They want to remain present in all the regions of the world. They need to have presence. In this particular region, the Afghanistan is one place where they have given a lot of, no doubt that they have given sacrifices. They have spent a lot of money in there in terms, and they have brought a huge number of forces there. They have done that, all right. Well, that is good work they have done. But then what they are trying to think is they want to make a permanent colony of theirs in Afghanistan for a permanent role in this region. But now they're becoming irrelevant in this region for their own doings because of this kind of attitude which they have. They keep pushing Pakistan on one account. They keep pushing the enemy of Pakistan on the other hand, keep encouraging him to come into there, giving him a role of, not a mediator, but a permanent role of settling down in Afghanistan, and threatening our borders on that account and telling Pakistan to keep doing further. That's the reason Pakistan doesn't want anyone's money now, and these statements are coming up very clearly in retaliation to whatever Americans are asking, that we don't need your money, we don't need your support on that account. But the only thing which Pakistan needs is the recognition which Pakistan has done for you, the recognition of those martyrs of 70,000 individuals, those who have laid and sacrificed their lives for the cause of peace only, nothing else. If our intentions would have been to invade Afghanistan, Pakistan would have done it much before. Pakistan would have created Afghanistan and would have merged Afghanistan into Pakistan. Was it there? No, it wasn't there. Pakistan has always played a very positive role and given a lot of sacrifices. Now the time has come that Pakistan only wants that you must recognize the sacrifices of Pakistan. You must not blame Pakistan for your wrongdoings. If you have failed in your strategies, if you have not done what Pakistan has been telling you to do, then you have created new friendships, new allies in the same region. You have been doing that fault.
So it's
not
basically
Pakistan.
the Americans that have betrayed Pakistan over the years, not the other way around.
Absolutely, absolutely. They need to see that, and they have to put their house in order. They need to review their policies, I think, and the time is coming that they are reviewing. That is the reason that sometimes they're trying to put pressure on you. Sometimes they are saying that we still are in collaboration. We want Pakistan to execute it. Pakistan, it's a sovereign, Afghanistan is a sovereign country. Pakistan is a sovereign country. Peace in Afghanistan is in the interest of Pakistan. Pakistan would not like to see Afghanistan in a turmoil. Pakistan is suggesting all those things which must be done in Afghanistan. But if you are not accepting the solutions which are put on the table by Pakistan, and you are trying to do something very different and in contradiction, just because for a permanent some other reasons that you want to have a grip on there, and you want to support someone, you want to muster the strength of some enemies of Pakistan, or for that matter enemies in this region, you are trying to create rift in this region. I think that narrative is not going to work anymore for the Americans, and Americans are realizing it now, because of the reason that the economic powers are going to be the future of this world. It's not going to be the future. The military hardware is no more future. Anywhere in the world, you can't have a permanent invasion. You can't rule. But with economy, yes, of course, you can rule the world. So your economy, which is a very strong economy, is being threatened by another economy, which is emerging economy, which is coming up in a fast way, and that is the Chinese economy, in coming up in this way, kind of obor, the concept which is being given. The entire world is getting smaller and smaller. They're getting closer and closer to it. They want to be part of these corridors and want to be part of this economic effort and this economic activity which is going on. If America wants to become a hurdle in that economic activity in this region, he is becoming irrelevant in this region. If you want to participate positively in economic growth of this region, then your policies will have to change. Then it will not be that you will be pushing Pakistan to do further. You would not be pushing Pakistan to take, actions on ground, putting your forces and trying to control Afghan Taliban. Afghan Taliban are a reality out there. Why should you always tell Pakistan? Why are you relating Pakistan with only Afghan Taliban for there? Pakistan is not ruling Afghan Taliban. The Afghan Taliban are independent to make their own decisions on the land of Afghanistan.
Right, sir. But having said that, we also have senior US generals who are maintaining regular communication with their Pakistani counterparts and further talking about trying to solve this situation, and even when it comes to doing more, how does Pakistan, or how do the Americans expect Pakistan to do more if they suspend their security assistance to Pakistan and also try to limit Pakistan's role in the region, and also try to coerce Pakistan into doing what they think is the right thing, which might be the wrong thing for that matter? Sheraz, do you have an opinion on that?
I think it's more of a pressurizing tactics rather than anything else. They are trying to divert our attention from our own national interest, And most important thing, because I would say that now it's about time that we bring back the national interest into our own boundaries, because earlier on, most of the decades, our national interest has been somewhere else, not within our own country. And then again, it is time that we bring it back. As far as the US pressure tactics are concerned, I think there are movement, there are certain suggestions that the assistance which is already in the pipeline should not be cut. So they are trying to pressurize Pakistan into a way where Pakistan eventually kind of agrees and comes on board as they want Pakistan to behave, because of the fact that we have to also admit that Pakistan's diplomacy has not been that much up to the mark. Because if we are facing this situation, it means that it indicates that there are certain failures which were not addressed. There are certain failures which are even now taking place as far as Pakistan's foreign policy is concerned. So that is very, very important. The assistance, obviously, we have to be very pragmatic about it. It is important for Pakistan. Pakistan has been able to, sustain itself when it comes to its own war on terror because of this assistance. But it does not mean that it will totally undermine Pakistan's ability to counter the threat. It will obviously make it difficult. It will become more challenging at one aspect, but it does not mean that United States of America, even United States of America understands that we cannot unilaterally just withdraw everything out of Pakistan, because Pakistan has a very important role in Afghanistan. It has a very important strategic location as well as far as Pakistan, because now what is happening over here, this is one way of pressurizing Pakistan, the aid card. The other one is very important. Now they are trying to say that both your longest borders are not secure. So now you see how are they trying to put pressure on Pakistan to do what they want to get done from Pakistan. I think it's important that Pakistan sustains, because it's very difficult to all of a sudden, because Pakistan has not been even clear to itself how to go about this situation if such a situation arises. But if Pakistan decides that with concrete policy measures that if we don't want we don't consider, as mentioned by Pakistani foreign minister, that US is not an ally. Fine, fair enough, but US is not an enemy as well. So you have to make sure that this statement stays like that. If US is not a friend, fine, fair enough, but it is also not an enemy. So we have to operate between these two lines rather than saying if it's not friend, it's an enemy. It's not an enemy. So it's important that Pakistan diplomatically comes on front. One. Secondly, Pakistan should start, because it's very important. In the previous programs, we were talking about the narratives. We are unable to design the narratives in our own war on terror. We don't have a policy as now. We have started working on it, but in past 16 years. So that is more important. Nobody can defeat. It is very clear. Nobody can defeat Pakistan until Pakistan does something to itself. That is what I am worried about. United States of America, I think we are equally able to, we have other options as well in the region, out of the region. And United States of America may have no other option apart from Pakistan at the moment. India does not share the kind of border Pakistan does with Afghanistan. And on the other end, there is Russia, there is China. So I think Pakistan itself has a very important position, and it is situated in a very important location. So Pakistan just needs to play its card prudently. Pakistan needs to convey the message unequivocally. That is going to be more important, because we have in the past 70, 60 years, that has been our problem. Then again, now Pakistan is pointing towards a plan B when it comes to, what if it fails in Afghanistan, that mayor or military mayor, what is the plan B? But I think we as Pakistan,
I think at the moment there is no plan B at the moment.
But we need to have a plan B.
We definitely need to have much more than a plan B. But one of the things the administration was asked about this possible impact of the decision in the decision of the United States in suspending military aid to Pakistan. Mr. Mattis replied that it's all integrated into the strategy, a bit vague, but then he further went on to say that we'll fight them. When asked about his strategy of combating terrorists, his response was that we'll fight them. So that fight is not going to end anytime soon, according to Mr. Mattis's statement. But then he further goes on to say that President Donald Trump really wants to be remembered as the United States president who won the Afghan war. And he wants to do it so that, as I mentioned earlier, he has chances for a second term to get re-elected. But then the Pakistani interaction that has taken place with the US have also voiced the same ambition, that we want to rid this region, and particularly Afghanistan, of terrorism and militancy. Now, again, we're on the same page as far as the objectives are concerned, but how is it that we seem to be on divergent paths when it comes to actually
defining the objectives?
Yes, you see, that's the problem. That's the kicker.
So that's where both United States of America and Pakistan need to work. Fine, fair enough. They have created common grounds. But when you go into the details, that's where the devil is. So you have to address the devil instead of just propagating and publicizing. We have common grounds. Move beyond these common grounds and come up with something where both can gain something out of this collaboration. Because otherwise, Pakistan, as Ahson Saab mentioned about the Indian factor in Afghanistan. Look how
that's a major cause for concern.
So how United States of America has done in that regard. Because if you want to gain the confidence of Pakistani nation, a Pakistani state, you have to show some, some moves, some policy initiatives.
Get, confidence and win confidence of the American people first. That is the problem, because they don't enjoy, I think, probably the confidence of the people of America. Because if you are trying to, they are trying to only concentrate on Afghanistan. Why not trying to concentrate on the entire world? This menace is not limited to Afghanistan and Pakistan only, or to this region only. This menace is spread all over the world. So why America is not bothered or should be bothered? I think they must have a strategy or plans A, B, C, D, or all those plans elsewhere in the world as well. This menace is spreading. Daesh is not only coming in this region. Daesh has got its foothold and stronghold somewhere else. It's Syria. It's just see where else is Daesh.
Daesh has global ambitions.
ISIS and all that, and globally. So why America is not concentrating on those issues? Why only pushing Pakistan further and trying to make or create an alarm as the situation is getting out of hand in Afghanistan only? They want to take something back to their people and tell, okay, look, we are trying to make you safe, but then this is the place in the world which is not letting this happen, but we are there for you and we are going to make sure. So this is like, I think, some strategy which is not going to work in the 21st century, because people have got some sense up there. They can always sense it as to what this strategy is, with the present strategy of the present regime, the ruling regime of America for that matter. So they are on stake on that account. Their elections is on one stake. He's looking forward to having the second term. He's looking forward to delivering something somewhere.
And with the release of this new book about him, I'm sure his domestic troubles have probably multiplied after that.
And all that. And he's unable to, they are unable to control this joint economic joint, which is getting strength every day now. This is becoming a nightmare for not only for them, for their people as well. That will they be the ruling class anymore or not? Or they will have to share that. So all these things are making them a bit confused as to what to do. So they are trying to look for an scapegoat, Sheraz, and that they look towards weaker Pakistan.
Pakistan
but
is
Pakistan,
the
alhamdulillah,
punching
is
bag.
not now anymore weaker Pakistan. Pakistan has emerged to be a strong Pakistan now. It's a nuclear Pakistan.
And getting
it's
stronger by the day.
And because it's too early. It's too early because I think it's hardly 1.5 years or 2 years that President Trump is in office.
18 months.
18 months. So that's, I think, it's apart from that election stunt, I think there is something more to it. So instead of just treating it as an election campaign rhetoric, I think it's more important that we should be equally prepared for whatever the initiative are being taken on the other end, whether it is domestic causes for that initiative or some other reasons, But Pakistan needs to prepare itself because we are in a very, at the moment, at a difficult situation. And Pakistan sees it very clearly because two of the biggest borders are getting, one is already insecure, the other one is getting insecure. So that is more important, whether it's US insecurity, internally that United States of America is behaving in this way, but this is too early for United States of America to behave in such a way, because even if Trump is targeting the second term, I would say it's still 2.5 years, So for that, it's something where Pakistan needs to put more effort, needs to work more in a way that it creates a balance between, because then again I will emphasize and stick to the one sentence I said earlier, if US is not our friend, it is also not our enemy. We have to draw a line, something in between, because that's the one thing we have to consider.
President Bush put it when he called up Mr. Musharraf back in 2000, when 9/11 took place. He said, either you're with us or you're against us, if I recall, those were his exact words. So when you say that we're not enemies, but we're not friends either, what does that really mean?
That means, that clearly means we cannot afford.
It sounds very much like the non-aligned movement that the Indians were
they have paid,
promoting at that
They have
time.
gained a lot from that. And I'm not saying, because the kind of history we share with the United States of America, look at that, whenever there is time for us to take the benefit, we were always, set aside. The first Afghan war is one of the examples. And now the conclusion towards the second Afghan war, that's what they're looking for. They want a conclusion by the end of the first term.
Maybe they don't. Who knows what they really want? Because
that
what they say and what they do are completely opposite things.
Then
so
that's
where the problem really begins.
Is going to be very interesting. That is more important. Conclusion in a way where they are able to sell that thing back home for the second term. So that is important to know. Pakistan, when I say that if Pakistan is not a friend, it should not be an enemy. What I mean to say is that we need to have a working relationship with the United States of America. Even the United States of America, rhetoric set aside, I think needs us equally as we need United States of America on the same level. So that is more important. But first thing first, we need, then again, internally, we have to have a cohesive response,
Or a coherent one.
Coherent one, rather, That is more important for us, because that's what we have been lacking since multiple decades. Now we have to consider this. This, I think, as very rightly said by once, I think if it was Obama, difficult times, challenges also have opportunities. I think it's opportunity for Pakistan that it decides its foreign policy measures, it concentrates its foreign policy measures, and it comes up with a more stronger response to the external world. I think it's about time, because of the fact we don't want to listen to these kind of allegations, these kind of statements that we are being paid for something. We are not being paid for something. We have lost a lot more than what we have been paid for. We have always been used. If United States of America thinks that they have been used, come on the other side. Let's see what we have lost and how we have been used. We have been used in first Afghan war. We paid in 30 million refugees. We paid in Kalashnikov culture. We played in drugs and other illicit trade in Pakistan.
Or the
we trade
complete
in
destruction and dysfunction of our society.
exactly economy. We trade in loss of our political system. Is this a coincidence? Whenever the United States of America needs Pakistan, there is a military coup. Is this a coincidence? So we have lost more. You have betrayed us more. So we still want to work on this. We still want to move forward with a more progressive, pragmatic relationship. Earlier, the previous relationship should be forgotten now. We want to build a new relationship, and it should not be on the lines of being a friend or being an enemy. We want a equal, sovereign relationship.
Thank you very much, Sheraz, for putting it out there so eloquently. I couldn't have said it better myself, but totally get your point, and it's very important that we also realize that more than anybody else. Let's also talk a bit about the actual strategy that the Americans are now thinking of implementing in this particular South Asian strategy, the Afghan theater. Now, when we talk about a major military offensive, Major Saab, this is for you, sir. When we talk about not engaging the Taliban diplomatically or in talks, and especially this is Pakistan's concern, that we say that we must involve and engage some Taliban factions in direct talks before we undertake any operation against them, that it would turn out to be counterproductive, and then further on the Taliban might just outlive this offensive as they did all the previous offensives and deal with it, lying in their mountain fastness as they did in the previous offensives, and then Pakistan will lose all influence that it ever had on the Taliban. Now that situation would be even far more dangerous for Pakistan post this operational scenario, sir. What's your take on it? What do you think about it, sir?
I think we need to see it with this view that they are independent to do whatever they want to do on their soil. Pakistan is not going to fight anyone else's war on any other soil. So this must be understood, that Pakistan is no more interested in fighting a war on Afghan soil. Pakistan is interested in building Pakistan, and fastly Pakistan has thought of that what is the course of building Pakistan is. Pakistan has got fast developing on its democratic culture. Pakistan has done that. These are the second regime which is completing its 5 years tenure after a very long time. So democracy is getting stronger in Pakistan. The view of the people is getting stronger. Pakistan has started to view the strength of the people out there. Pakistan has developed its bilateral foreign relations with the countries all over the world. Pakistan today has got all friends all over it. Pakistan is even ready to have negotiations or sit on the talking table to do and sort out its problems and outstanding and very nasty problems even with India as well. Pakistan has always offered for the talks.
Absolutely.
What to talk of that? So Pakistan is fastly growing its image. But what is happening is that the enemies of Pakistan do not want to see that strong Pakistan emerging and having a different view of the world for that matter. So a perception about Pakistan is always given in a negative way, and it is presumed that Pakistan is a country which supports the terrorists. It has got safe havens on its ground. It does this, it does that. Nobody is trying to look that Pakistan has fought such a long war. Pakistan is a country which has given such long sacrifices. Pakistan is a country which has today created a writ within its own country. You know, today, alhamdulillah, Pakistan rules in North and South Waziristan. We have got our troops present out there. The chief goes out there. The individuals have been taken out there to show what? That this is the peace which has prevailed in Pakistan. This is not through someone's aid only. This has been through our concentrated efforts
and sacrifices.
And sacrifices. So this is the only thing which Pakistan needs. Pakistan is ready to support anyone for that matter, even if may it be in Afghanistan, may it be in India, may it be elsewhere in the world, anywhere else. Pakistan is ready to be part of that coalition for bringing peace in the world, because Pakistan thinks that today the economic growth which is there, that is in the interest of Pakistan. It is in the interest of this region. It is in the interest of the world as a whole. Just I'm just reminded of Hillary Clinton's remarks which she gave, that why should we accuse Pakistan? What did we do for Pakistan after the Cold War? What did we do with Pakistan? We just left them, and we just left them exposed to everything. And there we were not even looking back towards them. That this is the Pakistan which has given so much of sacrifices, and they have fought such a brilliant war, being the front line ally with us. What have we done?
Yes,
they,
sir, but
they openly confessed it.
Maybe
So
that's why she's the persona non grata in the White House at the
maybe,
moment. sir.
maybe, but that is, I would say that realities can't be really hidden. Realities are there and everyone knows about it. The interest, the American interest in this region is that America doesn't want to really, Waqas, become irrelevant in this region. They want to stay in this region. They want to have some foothold in this region. They want to have their own small colony in this region. They want to have bases to operate in this region. So this Afghan Taliban, gimmick, or creating this theater and bringing all this is getting exposed every day. It is very much clear now. It is becoming that what is their interest out here. And soon you will see that they are going to change their strategy. I'm not, in any case, I'm not saying that we should be, what he has said also, Sheraz, that Pakistan wants to be friend to everyone. Everyone. Pakistan wants to have peace on its borders, may it be south, may it be west, may it be east. It is going.
I mean, we are a hospitable nation, sir. And in fact,
Hospitable
there was a
nations.
recent
We have
survey.
got so many issues
There
of
was
our
a survey
own.
conducted.
We
Too
are
hospitable.
One of the
I would
best
say.
places to travel.
Yes, I would say that another reality, Waqas, I would like to make a mark over here. Another reality is we need to see the kind of collaboration between United States of America and Pakistan. It has never been Pakistan. It has been selected few. That needs to change.
It has always been imbalanced in favor of the US.
It has been imbalanced in the favor of the US, and it has also been imbalanced within Pakistan as well.
Right.
So you cannot blame Pakistan as a whole, but similar fault lies on the Pakistani side as well. Now we should not let United States of America deal with one institution or another institution. We should deal with United States of America as a state, as one entity.
Absolutely.
That is the way forward.
One last question, and this is for Major Saab, because you also mentioned this earlier about the coherence or lack thereof of our policy. Now we have our foreign minister, as mentioned earlier, who said that we are not in an alliance with the United States in his interview to the Wall Street Journal. But then we also have the US Defense Secretary James Mattis saying that we are maintaining our communication with Pakistan's military establishment even after the suspension of military assistance. And then we have the Foreign Secretary Tahmina Janjua saying that Pakistan will continue to engage with Washington as far as possible because they are a global power and whatnot. So there is a disconnect in our own understanding of a few things. Would you agree with that, Major Saab?
Well, I see that
very briefly, sir, we're out of time.
We have not suspended the NATO supply routes as yet from what are passing through Pakistan. So Pakistan is also reciprocating with whatever feelings the Americans are also having. Americans know it, that Pakistan has given sacrifices. Somewhere they do recognize that, and that is the reason that they keep looking towards Pakistan again and again.
So you think we shouldn't be taking...
The only thing is what makes it difficult for them to basically digest is our stance of Indian presence in Afghanistan. Well, we don't really like that, and we have been very vocal in telling them that they do not have a right to come and stay out there and conspire against Pakistan. So that is where they are basically lacking as yet. They are still not convinced that they have to contain Indian involvement in Afghanistan. The day they do it, you will see America and Pakistan and everyone together again out there. It's only because of that particular reason that this all friction is happening.
One liner, internal cohesion is external strength. Pakistan.
Absolutely, and nobody can disagree with that at all. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for taking out the time and sharing your views with PTV World. You heard the conversation, and in conclusion, we hope that Pakistan and US relations see better days, and the only way forward is for us to cooperate rather than coerce each other into doing what we think is the right thing. We should all sit together and devise a coherent policy which works for both of us and creates a win-win situation for the entire region. With that hope and on that note, it's goodbye.